Welcome to Cash in the Cyber Sheets. I'm your host, James Bowers, and together we'll work with business leaders and industry experts to dive into the misunderstood business of cybersecurity and compliance to learn how to start making money from being secure and compliant. Welcome to Cash in the Cyber Sheets. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cash in the Cyber Sheets. I'm your host, James Bowers, Chief Security and Compliance Architect here at Input Output. Very happy to have you back here with us today. And today, I actually want to dive into how even us, we almost got locked out of our password management system, which if you have one of those, you know exactly how serious and how much of a, oh crap moment that would be. And really to talk about what you need to have into place to make sure that one, your bases are covered, and two, that it doesn't happen to you, that you don't get locked out of your critical password managers or any of your other critical systems. Because I can guarantee you we had a lot of the things in place and it was just an absolute comedy of errors that almost brought it all tumbling down. Before we get into that today, please go ahead and click on that like, click that subscribe, and in the comments, let us know some things that you would like us to discuss on the show, things you're having trouble with in your compliance program, and also, always, anything that you're doing that's working well, because love to celebrate the success. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into, uh, I think what happened. We'll talk a little bit about things you want to make sure that you have in place, and then things to watch out for, where we started having some of the kind of comedy of errors in it. It started becoming an issue. Almost became a point to where we thought we might not be able to get everything recovered. Okay, so first things first, we were actually getting a new client set up in our password management system. It's not something that we market, not a whole lot. We don't market it at all, but we actually do help some clients with password management. We particularly like Keeper Security. It is a very secure platform. It is absolutely zero trust. Part of the problem that we were having today. So kind of double-edged sword, cup half full kind of thing. But in any case, it was actually signing in to get the new client set up and password didn't work. Tried a different variation of it. Really made sure I didn't fat finger it first because have kind of the sausage fingers right now from, I don't know, some sort of arthritis, and still didn't work. Actually started trying different variations of the password. Long story short, the hamster didn't just fall off the wheel. It apparently completely died because nothing worked and started getting to the point to where your login attempt is being throttled. Please wait 1 minute. Now please wait 4 minutes. Now 8 minutes. Now 16 minutes, and completely going the wrong way, especially with a new client onboarding. Really not what you want to project out there. So if you've been in a situation where you completely fumble in front of a new client, it sucks, but we all do it, and you're not alone. So egg on our face. Again, definitely not alone. So in trying to get in, I'll take kind of a sidestep here. Actually had to go and access the break glass account. Now, every critical system that you have should have at least one, if not more, break glass accounts. And really, what this refers to is the password in a case, and if you need it, you break the glass to get into it. Now we keep it in typically like sealed envelopes and keep those within a locked vault. Um, and for supercritical systems, can even break that up to where half of it's in one vault, half of it's in another. But that way, you get you have somewhere that you can access the credentials for critical accounts. Now, things that you should typically have set up for your break glass accounts or for your primary accounts are definitely the passwords, a strong password, but one um, that you can get to, that you can identify. Something very important too is making sure that in that password, if you have it written down and in a secure location, that you can tell the difference between numbers and letters and other characters. Um, Depending on the font that some password managers, some copy paste uses, you can't tell the difference between a zero and an O, and that can make it, or an I and an L, or a capital I and a one. It can make it very difficult, especially if it's a very long password, um, to get back in because you may not be typing it incorrectly. Other things that you want to have for the account are recovery phrases and making sure that if you can, those are secured in a way that you can copy paste them, but at least to where there's somewhere that you can try getting back into the account. You also want to make sure that with multi factor setup, you have backup MFA codes. Now, I would recommend typically not keeping these in the same location as your recovery phrase or, say, a printed password. It's good typically, if you can, to keep those separate. If it's in a locked vault for kind of your own office, weigh the risk there, but um, you want to have those kind of break glass methods in a complete break glass account with all of those things set up as well that can let you get into the system. Now, here's where things can go sideways with that break glass account. With changes in platforms, not necessarily with changes, maybe it's the way it always is, but when signing in, if you haven't signed in for a very long time with certain accounts, you have to authenticate the browser or the device. And I think a lot of these we're going to go over kind of fall into the same category, but the issue of getting into a catch 22 loop. Well, you need to authenticate this device with the device you're signed in on first. But I can't sign into a device because I don't have a device yet to authorize this device. It starts turning into a chicken and the egg. So you want to make sure that, especially with your break glass account, which you're practically never using, really the only times you are using it are testing it at least annually, or during your user access audits to make sure it's still a viable account, or when you're actually having to use it. And that's typically so few and far in between the times that you're actually utilizing it. You're not going to have any platform, any other signed in device to be able to authenticate it. So you want to make sure with that break glass account that you have that turned off, or you have some other way, a backup code, some other way to be able to authenticate. Another thing that can cause a serious um, headache, a serious problem, is, again, you're not typically using that break glass account a lot. If you have it set up to where the password expires after so many days, 90 days, 180 days, when you go to use it, you may be prompted to reset the password. Now, that in and of itself isn't so bad, but where the problem comes into is with certain platforms, certain browsers, certain devices, it can get you into another catch 22 loop to where the system is looking for you to reset the password, but it's trying to do a multi factor challenge, or it's trying to only let you reset on an authorized device. And some of these, they really come down to design issues, but design oopsies can get you into this issue to where now you're trying to use this backup account and you can't actually sign in with it because of the extra security. the keeping the account secure. So with your backup accounts, what you want to make sure that you can actually sign in with them, that they do not need some sort of other authentication, some sort of other device to let you in beyond like a multi-factor. And typically that you don't have the password expire. Those are typically, if you can, set those passwords to not expire. So that way they are there and ready for you. And when you do your user access audits, or at least once a year, test that backup, that break glass account to make sure you can sign in, to make sure that the uh, backup codes work. And at that time, since you're breaking over the envelope, since you're breaking the glass, change the password, update it, validate it works, seal it up, put it back away. I cannot stress enough how much you want to make sure you have a break glass account set up and that you test these accounts. You also want to make sure other things to watch out for. If you have any IP restrictions, that these IP, that you have access to those IP addresses, that you're not behind some sort of a VPN, or that the IP wasn't part of a non-static IP that's now changed, that can definitely lock you out. You want to make sure it's to a platform that you're not going to lose access to, or that you're not going to lose the email capability. One issue with some backup accounts is that the domain gets lost, or there's a DNS issue that reroutes the LMAX records, and now you're not able to get the emails for that domain, and it completely invalidates any of those break glass accounts. Um, a good practice is to use like a Google or some sort of other um, non specific domain platform that you can use, gmail.com, something like that, but that you can fully secure the account and monitor it. And other good practices to have with that break glass account, if you can, have monitoring, have alerts to where anytime that account's used, everything lights up. You get alerts, you get emails. So that way you can identify if that account's being used legitimately, or if you're getting the alerts and that wasn't you, to immediately jump into that account to lock things down and make sure everything's secure. So that is all the time I have today for reviewing the break glass accounts, reviewing that access. Again, make sure that you've got your passwords set up correctly, that you've got recovery phrases, that you have backup MFA codes so you can get in, and that not only are your break glass accounts properly tested and set up, but that they are annually reviewed and consistently updated to make sure you don't lose access to your critical systems and critical accounts. Thank you very much for listening to us today on Cash in the Cyber Sheets, and until next time. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget, click that subscribe button, leave us a review, and share it with your network. Remember, security and compliance aren't just about avoiding risk. They're about unlocking your business's full potential. So stay secure, stay compliant, and we'll catch you next week on Cash in the Cyber Sheets. Goodbye for now.
Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down.